Welcome to the world of Haribo, home of the legendary Gummy Bear. Today, we're taking you on an exclusive tour inside a Haribo factory to see exactly how these colorful, chewy candies are made. We'll explore every step, from mixing and molding to cooling and packaging, all explained in simple terms. Plus, we'll sprinkle in some surprising fun facts that even the biggest Haribo fans might not know. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see how your favorite gummies come to life. Before we hit the production line, let's go back in time. Haribo was founded way back in 1920 by a man named Hans Riegel in Bonn, Germany. The name earns a Tigelbaum, pretty clever, right? He started with just a sack of sugar, a brick oven, and a rolling pin. His very first creation was the dancing bear, a bigger version of the gummy bears we know and love today. By the 1960s, Haribo had become a global sensation, and the Goldbears, the modern gummy bears, were officially born. Here's a fun fact. Today, Haribo produces over 100 million gummy bears every single day. That's enough to circle the Earth several times a year. Now, let's step onto the factory floor and start at the very beginning. The ingredients. Every single gummy starts with a simple mixture of sugar, glucose syrup, gelatin, and water, plus a special blend of natural or artificial flavors and colors. These ingredients are stored in enormous stainless steel containers and measured with extreme precision. The syrup mixture at 10 heat becomes a warm, golden liquid, almost secret the texture. It's all thanks to gelatin. Fun fact. Gelatin actually melts at body temperature, which is why gummies melt so perfectly in your mouth as you chew them. Next, delicious flavors like strawberry, raspberry, lemon, apple, and pineapple are added. The vibrant colors come from fruit and plant concentrates or food-safe dyes. Each color usually corresponds to a flavor, but depending on the country, the flavor pairings might actually be different. Once the mixture is ready, it's time to give the gummies their famous shape. The liquid candy is poured into large trays filled with fine cornstarch. This starch acts like soft sand, holding the impression of each gummy shape. These impressions are made by pressing metal stamps into the starch. And a single tray can hold thousands of tiny, bear-shaped outlines. This classic technique is called the starch molding process, and it hasn't changed much since the early days of candy making. Whether it's bears, worms, hearts, or soda bottles, every shape starts as a simple dent pressed into cornstarch. Another fun fact, the Haribo Goldbear has its own patented shape, slightly rounded with a tiny smile. Haribo even redesigned its bears in 2022 to make them look even more cheerful. Now, for the mesmerizing part, filling the molds. Rows and rows of nozzles squirt the warm candy mixture into every single starch cavity. These machines work incredibly fast, with some lines filling over 1,000 molds every minute. Once the trays are full, they're stacked and moved along conveyor belts to the next stage. Watching this happen in real time is like seeing candy rain. It's precise, colorful, and perfectly timed. And here's something cool. Haribo factories are designed so that almost no syrup is wasted. Any leftover mixture is recycled and reused before it has a chance to cool down. After the molds are filled, the trays head into a temperature-controlled room where the gummies cool and set for several hours. During this time, the liquid slowly transforms into a solid gummy, developing its final texture. The gelatin works its magic here, creating that perfect firmness Haribo fans know and love. When the cooling process is complete, the gummies are gently separated from the starch using vibrating screens. The starch itself is then dried, cleaned, and reused for the next batch. Fun fact, reusing the starch isn't just efficient. It also gives every gummy that perfect matte texture before it moves on to the waxing stage. Next up, the freshly molded gummies are placed into giant, rotating drums called tumbling machines. Inside, They're coated with a very thin layer of carnauba, wax, sometimes mixed with a bit of beeswax. Carnauba, wax, comes from the leaves of a palm tree in Brazil and gives the gummies their beautiful, shiny finish. This step is also crucial because it prevents them from sticking together, which is super important when you're packing millions of gummies into bags every day. And get this, for a fun fact, carnauba wax is also used to polish cars, skis, and even vegetables. So yes, your gummy bears share their shine with some pretty unexpected things. Before any gummy bear makes it into a bag, it has to pass Haribo's strict quality checks. Factory workers, and sometimes even automated vision systems, inspect the gummies for the correct color, proper shape, consistent weight, and right size. They're also looking for any defects or deformities. Then comes the taste test. And yes, taste tester is a real job at Haribo. In fact, every new Haribo flavor goes through months of taste testing and consumer panels before it's approved for production. And if a gummy doesn't meet the high standards, it gets recycled, not wasted. On s'approved, the gummies want packaging lines. Machines weigh out the exact amounts for each bag, whether it's 80 grams, 160 grams, or a giant 1 kilogram party bag, and fill the colorful Haribo packaging. The bags are then heat-sealed, printed with batch numbers, and sent down conveyor belts to be boxed up for shipping. Robotic arms stack the boxes onto pallets, getting them ready to be transported to supermarkets, candy shops, and convenience stores all around the world. Here's a mind-blowing fact. Some Haribo factories ship out more than 100 tons of gummy candy every single day. Did you know that different countries have their own Haribo favorites? For example, in Germany, people love the classic Goldbears and licorice. In the US, Twin Snakes and sour Goldbears are huge hits. Over in France, they enchant gummies fried fruit filling. Turkey is actually one of the leading countries in Haribo production and exports. In total, Haribo has more than 1,000 unique shapes worldwide, and many of them never even leave their home country. And that's the complete journey, from a simple mix of sugar and syrup to the shiny, delicious gummy bears we all know. Each and every one goes through a surprisingly detailed and carefully controlled process to become the perfect candy. Thanks so much for joining us on this tour inside the Haribo factory. If you enjoyed this sweet deep dive, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes food stories. Kids and grown-ups love it, so the happy world of Haribo